Good morning from the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your forecaster Jeff Monk, looking at the planning outlook on the mountains over the next week or so, concentrating on the weekday period next week. Early next week, it's going to be extensively cloudy across much of Britain, not just the mountain areas, often hazy, indeed foggy, some low-lying and some higher areas at night. Indeed, areas of low cloud are going to be very persistent on some mountain areas, although they're going to be largely absent on others, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. Later in the week, more typical southwesterly or westerly winds coming in, bringing one or two bands of rain and low cloud, and also preceded by strong winds, although also under more mixed conditions. There should still be one or two fine days, or perhaps where there's no more than one or two showers. So starting off the sequence on Monday, we are going to have a front down the country. Now it's quite a key feature, this, and when we draw it in more or less north-south down the country, and then we look at where it is on the different models. On some of them it's a little bit further west, and on others very slightly further east, but what it represents is a band of cloud that, despite fairly high pressure, just does not want to go away. Extensive low cloud, more or less down the spine of Britain, and still some, I'm going to call it patchy rain. Rain on and off, particularly in the morning, but all the while the rain tending to fizzle out, although not fizzle out in an organised fashion. It'll tend to leave patches here and there. I don't think anywhere the rain will be particularly heavy, possibly most rain over the southeastern highlands, but generally it's small drops, drizzly light rain, and associated with a lot of fog on the mountains. It may be that westernmost mountains of Wales, possibly into Galloway, West Scotland, and particularly the northwest highlands, have a much better day to the west of that band of cloud. Sunshine, clear air, and very little wind. Indeed, through much of next week, with the wind in the south, the northwest highlands, probably even across to the monolay of the northern Cairngorms, enjoying the best of the conditions, although everywhere it will be more mixed later in the week. So if we go now to Tuesday, we will still have that old front, that band of low cloud as it will be, and just isolated drizzle by then, perhaps most likely across Angus and Perthshire, the odd pocket of drizzle elsewhere. But it will tend to be that persistent low cloud, shrouding some of the Pennines, perhaps more of the eastern slopes, the border hills, and up into southeastern Scotland. Once we get again up to the Cairngorms and in towards the northwest highland, that low cloud breaking up altogether. Further west, to begin the day, a mixture of low cloud and fog, but on westernmost mountains you may be far enough west to miss the low cloud associated with that front, and again have fine conditions with light winds. But despite the fact that we do have high pressure not far from the country over towards Scandinavia early next week, it is going to be a rather disappointing southeast or easterly. One other feature, perhaps Tuesday, Wednesday, is that here and there there's still a small risk of one or two bursts of rain coming in off the continent. Unlikely, but just possible here and there, most likely over England and East Wales. Going now on to Wednesday, and we have rain showed by the various colours coming in, the red indicating heavy rain, a yellow moderate rain over a few hours, beginning to come in from the west. It'll certainly be affecting Ireland on Wednesday. There is some uncertainty as to how quickly it's going to come into Britain. This particular model shows it getting into western Scotland and hints that later on in the day it would begin to envelop mountain areas near the Irish Sea. That may or may not happen. Whatever, I think it will be a windier day on Wednesday, particularly over northern and western Scotland. Again, though, even where it's dry, it's hazy, some areas of low cloud, and particularly toward the Pennines, East Wales, probably a lot of valley fog to begin the day, which will clear only slowly. Certainly with these southeasterly winds, it will be hazy, so even where the summits are clear of cloud, the views will not be spectacular. Finally, a chart for Thursday, which is our hint for later in the week. Atlantic lows beginning to pass close to Scotland, probably the timing not that certain. This particular model, the American model, suggests a low on Thursday not far off the Outer Hebrides pushing eastwards, eventually its rain pushing away eastwards and turning more showery. Again, there is then differences in the models toward the weekend as to how quickly the next weather front or weather system will come in, bringing further rainfall. But I think in between there should be areas of more or less dry weather, a few showers perhaps to spoil things. Finally, courtesy of meteoseal.fr, I'm going to show you a sequence of charts that we as meteorologists would use. Now, they are very data heavy, and it's a chart that tries to show us the various cloud layers. Now, what I want you to sort of restrict yourselves, if you can, in looking at are the reddish colours. Broadly speaking, what we've done is made the reddish colours low cloud, the stuff that would cover the mountain summits. The greens are what we call middle level cloud, up at 2-3 kilometres or so. And the blues are high cloud, the thin, high ice cirrus clouds, and there'll be a lot of that. So as I run the sequence hour by hour, what I want you to concentrate on, and this is starting on late Monday morning, is the low cloud, the reds. And remember that on Monday we will have that front somewhere down the country, moving very little over a day or two, but if anything, it's rainfall just fizzling out. But you will notice as we run hour by hour, now into Monday afternoon, if you can concentrate on the reds, the low cloud just stays there whilst the high level cloud moves about. It a little bit more broken. This is into Tuesday afternoon now. Some breaks. Notice the Northwest Highlands, and according to this particular model, also Wales. High level thin cloud, but out of the main cloud sheet. And then if we now jump ahead to Wednesday morning, again the low cloud has come back overnight, and this particular sequence finishes at 6 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time on Wednesday morning, when again, particularly down the spine of Britain, it's just covered in this very low cloud, valley fog, fog on the hills, which will to a certain extent break up during the day. It'll break up most widely over the northwest Highlands, northern mountains in Scotland, and probably over some western mountains elsewhere, but may persist all day on the eastern Pennines, Angus, Perthshire, the border hills, particularly the Cheviots. So as I say, high pressure for a few days early next week, but a little bit disappointing from the mountain perspective due to haze and basically fog in the valleys in the morning and persisting on some higher slopes well into or through the day. Nevertheless, some fine weather with light winds to be had, so do enjoy the mountains.